Hacked sat quietly in the briefing room, surrounded by the crew of the Broken Promise and commanders from other racing teams. The air was thick with tension and anticipation. This wasn't just another race, this was the beginning of their offensive against the Empire. Grand Admiral Decker stood before them, his face stern as he activated a holographic display of a small, unremarkable-looking planet. "This," he said, his voice carrying easily through the room, "is Green 4. It will be the first target in our island-hopping campaign to Buena Terra, the Empire's capital world." Hacked leaned forward, his large eyes taking in every detail of the hologram. Green 4 looked nothing like the lush worlds he'd seen in the Empire's propaganda. It was a dull, industrial planet, its surface dotted with factories and military installations. "Our objective is simple," Decker continued. "We will neutralize the planet's defenses, destroy their garrison ships, and if possible, raid their armories. This is not an invasion or an occupation. It's a hit-and-run operation designed to disrupt Imperial supply lines and sow confusion in their ranks." Jeb raised his hand. "Sir, what kind of resistance can we expect?" Decker's expression was grim. "Intelligence suggests the garrison is largely inexperienced. However, never underestimate a cornered enemy. They will fight fiercely to protect their home." As the briefing continued, detailing the specific roles of each team, Hacked found his mind wandering to the enormity of what they were about to do. They were no longer just escaping the Empire's clutches, they were taking the fight directly to them. Hours later, as the Broken Promise dropped out of FTL on the outskirts of the Green 4 system, Hack's paws flew over his console, running last-minute checks on their navigation systems. "All systems green, Captain," he reported, his voice steady despite the butterflies in his stomach. Jeb nodded, his eyes fixed on the view screen where Green 4 loomed large. "All right, people, this is it. Everything we've been through, every race, every near-death experience, it's all led to this moment. Let's show the Empire what real racers can do." As the task force began its approach, Hacked couldn't help but feel a surge of pride and determination. They had come so far from those first desperate races. Now they were the tip of the spear in a war that could reshape the galaxy. The Broken Promise streaked through Green 4's atmosphere, its advanced stealth systems rendering it nearly invisible to the planet's defensive grid. Hack's paws danced across his console, guiding the ship through a series of evasive maneuvers that would have been impossible in their old racing vessel. First drop zone approaching, Hacked squeaked, his eyes darting between his displays and the view screen. "ETA 30 seconds. Jeb's voice was steady as he relayed orders. "Killian, be ready with suppressing fire. We need to clear that landing zone." The ship shuddered as Killian unleashed a barrage of precision strikes, obliterating the defensive emplacements around their target. Moments later, they touched down in a cloud of dust and debris. "Go, go, go," Jeb shouted as the cargo bay doors opened, disgorging a team of Julius 9 shock troops. No sooner had the last trooper departed than Hacked was already plotting their next course. "Second target acquired, Captain. It's a garrison ship depot 2 clicks north." The Broken Promise was airborne again in seconds, joining a ballet of other converted racing ships as they darted across Green 4's sky. Hack's racing instincts, honed by years of deadly competitions, served them well as he navigated through increasingly heavy anti-aircraft fire. Their second run was as smooth as the first, dropping troops directly onto the roof of the Imperial ship depot. Hacked allowed himself a small smile of satisfaction as he saw explosions blossom across the facility moments after their departure. "Nice flying," Furball Killian grunted appreciatively. "Those imps don't know what hit him." The third and fourth runs followed a similar pattern. Drop troops, provide air support, extract when the objective was complete. With each successful mission, Hacked felt his confidence growing. They were more than just racers now, they were a finely tuned war machine. As they approached their fifth drop zone, Jeb's voice cut through the focused silence on the bridge. "Status report, people. How are we holding up?" "Ship's systems are all green," Hacked reported. "We've taken some glancing hits, but nothing our shields couldn't handle." Killian chimed in, a note of grim satisfaction in his voice. "Weapons are functioning perfectly. We've knocked out 3 defensive batteries and 2 garrison ships so far. Jeb nodded, his eyes scanning the tactical display. Good work, everyone, but don't get complacent. The real test is yet to come. As if on cue, the comm system crackled to life with an urgent message from command. All units, be advised. Heavy resistance reported in Sector 7. Proceed with caution. Hacked felt a chill run down his spine. Sector 7 was their next target, an industrial zone rumored to house one of Green 4's largest armories. Plot a course, Hacked, Jeb ordered, his voice filled with determination. Looks like this milk run just got interesting. As the Broken Promise banked towards Sector 7, Hacked couldn't shake the feeling that their real challenge was about to begin. The ease of their first 4 runs seemed like a distant memory now, as the sky ahead filled with the flashes of intense combat. They were about to earn their reputation as the best of the racing crews. Hacked just hoped they'd all live to tell the tale. The Broken Promise dove through a hail of anti-aircraft fire as it approached the drop zone in Sector 7. Hack's paws flew over his console, making split-second course corrections to avoid the worst of the barrage. 30 seconds to drop zone, Hacked called out, his voice tight with tension. Just as they were about to begin their descent, the comm system crackled to life. This is Team Sigma. We're pinned down in the industrial complex. Heavy Imperial resistance, requesting immediate extraction. Jeb's face hardened as he processed the information. Hacked, new coordinates. Find Team Sigma. Hacked quickly recalibrated their approach, his mind racing. This wasn't part of the plan. They were supposed to drop off troops, not extract them from a hot zone. Captain Killian growled, "We're not equipped for a hot extraction. This could get messy." Jeb nodded grimly. Noted. Hacked, open a channel to command. As Hacked complied, Jeb quickly relayed the situation to headquarters. There was a moment of tense silence before the response came through. Broken Promise, you're authorized to assist Team Sigma. Be advised, this is a high-risk operation. Proceed with extreme caution. Understood, Jeb replied, his voice filled with determination. All right, crew, change of plans. We're going in hot. Hacked felt a mix of fear and excitement coursing through him. This was far beyond their usual operations, but if anyone could pull it off, it was the crew of the Broken Promise. Approaching Team Sigma's last known position, Hacked reported, his eyes glued to the tactical display. Heavy Imperial presence detected. It's going to be tight, Captain. Jeb's hands tightened on the controls. Thread the needle, Hacked. Get us as close as you can. As they descended into the chaos of the industrial complex, Hacked could see the flashes of weapons fire and the smoke rising from damaged buildings. Team Sigma was nowhere in sight. I can't get a lock on their position, Hacked squeaked, frustration evident in his voice. There's too much interference. Jeb's response was immediate and unexpected. Then we do this the hard way. Killian, prep the ground gear. We're going in ourselves. Hack's eyes widened in surprise. Captain. You heard me, Jeb said, his voice leaving no room for argument. We didn't come this far to leave our people behind. Hacked, find us a landing zone. The rest of you gear up. We're joining this fight. As the Broken Promise touched down amidst the chaos of battle, Hacked felt a surge of determination. They were more than just pilots and navigators now. They were soldiers in a war for the galaxy's future. And they were about to prove why the crew of the Broken Promise was the best of the best. Hack's paws trembled slightly as he secured the last clasp on his combat suit. The familiar weight of his navigation tools had been replaced by unfamiliar weaponry. He glanced around at his crewmates, all similarly equipped and wearing expressions of grim determination. Remember your training, Jeb said as they gathered near the ship's exit ramp. Stay low, move fast, and watch each other's backs. Hacked, you're our eyes. Your sensor readings could mean the difference between life and death out there. Hacked nodded, gripping his portable scanner tightly. As the ramp lowered, the sounds and smells of battle assaulted his senses. The acrid stench of weapons fire mixed with the metallic tang of spilled blood. In the distance, he could hear the staccato of blaster fire and the dull thud of explosions. Move out, Jeb ordered, and they rushed into the chaos of the industrial complex. Hack's heart pounded as they weaved through the maze of buildings and machinery. His ears swiveled constantly, trying to pinpoint the source of every sound. His scanner beeped softly, guiding them towards Team Sigma's last known position. Contact front, Killian's gruff voice cut through the noise. A group of Imperial soldiers had rounded a corner ahead of them, looking just as surprised to see the broken Promise crew as Hack felt. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. Then, chaos erupted. Hack dove behind a large piece of machinery as energy bolts sizzled through the air. He could hear Killian returning fire, the weapons officer's aim as precise on the ground as it was in space. Act. We need a way around, Jeb shouted over the din of battle. Forcing himself to focus, Hack studied his scanner. There's a service corridor to our left. It should lead us behind their position. Following Hack's directions, they managed to flank the Imperial soldiers. The skirmish was over in moments, leaving Hack breathless and shaken. This was nothing like the races he was used to, but he couldn't deny the rush of adrenaline coursing through him. They pressed on, encountering sporadic resistance. Hack found himself growing more confident with each passing minute, his racing instincts translating surprisingly well to ground combat. He could anticipate enemy movements, find the safest paths through the chaos, just as he had navigated treacherous racecourses. Finally, they reached Team Sigma's position. The shock troops were pinned down in a large warehouse, surrounded by Imperial forces. "We need a distraction," Jeb muttered, assessing the situation. Hack's eyes lit up as he spotted a cluster of fuel cells nearby. "Captain, if we could detonate those fuel cells, it might give us the opening we need." Jeb grinned. "Good thinking, Hacked. Killian, you heard the man. Light 'em up." The resulting explosion was more spectacular than Hacked had anticipated. In the ensuing confusion, they charged forward, breaking through the Imperial lines and reaching Team Sigma. "Cavalry's here," Jeb announced as they linked up with the beleaguered shock troops. With the broken Promise crew's arrival, the tide of battle quickly turned. The remaining Imperial forces, inexperienced and now outflanked, began to retreat in disarray. As the last of the enemy fell back, Hacked allowed himself a moment of pride. They had done it. They had successfully rescued Team Sigma and turned a potential disaster into a victory. But as he looked around at the destruction surrounding them, Hack knew that this was just the beginning. The real war was only just starting, and there would be many more battles to come. For now, though, they had a mission to complete and a planet to neutralize. The crew of the Broken Promise had proven themselves on the ground just as they had in space. Whatever challenges lay ahead, Hack knew they would face them together, as the formidable team they had become. 3 days after their daring rescue of Team Sigma, Hack found himself back in the familiar surroundings of the Julius 9 military headquarters. The raid on Green 4 had been a resounding success, with the planet's defenses neutralized and its strategic resources either captured or destroyed. As Hack settled into his seat in the briefing room, he couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. The Broken Promise crew had played a pivotal role in the operation, proving their worth not just as pilots and navigators, but as ground combatants as well. Grand Admiral Decker strode to the front of the room, his face a mix of satisfaction and determination. "Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations on a successful first strike against the Empire. Operation First Rock has exceeded our expectations." The holographic display flickered to life, showing a map of their progress. Green 4 glowed a triumphant blue amidst a sea of red Imperial-controlled systems. "Thanks to your efforts," Decker continued, "we've disrupted a key Imperial supply line and demonstrated the effectiveness of our new strategy. The Empire is reeling, unsure where we'll strike next." Jeb leaned forward, his voice carrying across the room. "What is our next move, sir? We've got them on the back foot. We should press our advantage." Decker nodded, a hint of a smile on his face. "Indeed we shall, Captain Sheets. Our next target is already selected." The hologram zoomed in on another planet, this one larger and more heavily defended than Green 4. Centauri Prime. A major Imperial shipyard and strategic command center. Hack felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Centauri Prime was notorious, even among racing circles. Its orbital defenses were said to be impenetrable. As if reading his thoughts, Decker addressed the concern. This will not be another hit-and-run operation. Centauri Prime represents our first major objective in our island-hopping campaign. Taking it will require a prolonged engagement and all of our combined skills. The room buzzed with murmurs as the implications sank in. This would be their biggest test yet. Over the next week, Decker continued, you'll undergo intensive training for this operation. We'll be combining our racing crews with regular military units. Your experience in unconventional tactics will be crucial to our success. As the briefing concluded and they filed out of the room, Hacked found himself walking alongside Jeb and Killian. What do you think? Captain Hacked asked, his whiskers twitching nervously. Jeb's face was thoughtful. I think we're in for the fight of our lives, Hacked. But I also think we're ready for it. What we did on Green 4, the way we adapted and overcame, that's what's going to win this war. Killian grunted in agreement. Aye. The Empire's got no idea what's coming for them. A bunch of ragtag racers turned into the sharpest fighting force this galaxy's ever seen. As they stepped out into the bustling streets of Julius IX's capital, Hacked looked up at the sky. Somewhere out there, Centauri Prime awaited, along with the next chapter in their incredible journey. They had come so far from those first desperate races. Now, they were at the forefront of a war that could reshape the galaxy. And Hacked knew, with absolute certainty, that whatever challenges lay ahead, the crew of the Broken Promise would face them together. The race to liberate the galaxy had only just begun, and they were determined to cross that finish line. Thank you so much for listening to this story. I hope you loved it. Please remember to subscribe if you did like it so you can see more videos like this. And please give us a like and a comment too. I'll see you in the next one.